Hi. So it's Tamika of Love Inspired Teach E, as well as of the R&B Factory as a co-host, but I am actually also the owner of a couple other companies. So bear with me because one of them means basically I have to set everything up a little bit differently. Because it's the first time I've gone live in this particular. Oh my gosh, what happened? Let me just check. I gotta see if I'm live on the platform I'm supposed to be live on Instagram. It doesn't look like I am. Great. So let's set it up again. Fun stuff, right? Bear with me, y'all. Gives you guys time to come on in as well. Let's see. Is it this one? No, I don't think that's right. Nope. All right. Well, let's try it again. Saturday self-care. I wonder if this is going to let me change the stream key. I might have to start over, y'all. Try it again. I'm going to change the stream key, so bear with me. Whew. Learn something new today. Okay. Saying I uploaded the wrong key, so let's try it again. Okay. Ah, technology, y'all gotta love it, right? Okay, so I think we're almost there with Royalty KO Media on IG is where I'm going live, and I haven't been live on there in quite some time. So, it says I can select go live. Ah, there it is. Okay. There we go. Now I'm cooking with grease. Hi, IG. It's been a minute. I can't remember ever going live on this account. Type that as well, just to make sure that one's working. I think it's working, even though I'm not seeing it here. So we're just gonna rock with it, okay? So if you don't know, now you know. You can go to Royalty KO Media and find me there as well. But all right, Facebook, YouTube. It is Self-Care Saturday. It is Small Business Saturday. My throat is still not right. My the phlegm's still coming up. Still trying to fix it in time for R&B Factory tomorrow. So if you didn't know, tune into R&B Factory on 106.5 in Chicago, and you'll find me there tomorrow. I had one person watching. They probably waiting on me, got impatient and left. But it's all good. It's all good. So self-care Saturday with Mel and Mo. So first of all, I hope it's okay with Mel and Mo that I'm doing this. Second of all, I really appreciate them for coming on the R&B Factory Live. It was a practice live podcast recording in case y'all didn't realize. But yeah, that was kind of practice for us. We're adding a new co-host tomorrow as well. But when I say that I'm live with Mel and Monique, I finally got a chance to get into my copy of the book, y'all. This is my signed copy of the book. Mo said, keep dating, love Coach Mo. And then love is real was what Mel said. Because, yeah, I do kind of doubt it. So I was just looking at the table of contents and debating what to do. I'm starting a book club with Ms. Barbara from my church, who also I'll be working with for PHP agency soon. So keep that in mind. I will have yet another job, y'all. I work really hard because I have two children whom I love dearly. Shout out to Michaela and Jules. Michaela, I do not tend to talk to on Saturdays with her dad. That's written in an order. It can change, but he does not make change easy. And that's the reality of this situation. So I just want to say that I appreciate y'all for bearing with me because I know that I've been live a lot lately. And there's a reason behind it. And I don't have to necessarily share the reason, all the full details about it, but there's a lot of things that are about to happen in 2025. And it requires me to show my face. It requires me to use my authentic self. And as much as I do value my privacy, contrary to popular belief, I grew up more or less in the limelight. And I've been talking about that a lot lately. But Mel and Mo, I wanted to read to you guys from Love Beyond 40. I just got into the book, but I mean, we on the podcast talked about, we got into healing, we got into intentionality, manifesting. I talk about modern dating all the time. The little, I shouldn't call it little, but the big thank you for Mel and Mo was enlightening in and of itself. But in the introduction, they talk. First of all, let me read the quote to you guys. So I'm going to read from the book to you guys. Introduction is, I don't want to sound foolish, but remember, love is what brought you here. And if you've trusted love this far, don't panic now. Trust it all the way. I don't know who Sharon Rivers is, but she said that. And the book starts off with talking about shifting the narrative about Black love. So I am Black and Filipino. I'd love to find out if anyone knows of any books about Filipino love. Let me know, because Filipino humor is totally different, very inappropriate. I have a little torn up book by it because my first dog, Louis Vuitton, my grandma named the dog. My first dog got to it. But I had a first date with a gentleman who I truly enjoy, who makes me laugh and smile constantly, and who lets me tell him what's going on in my life, whether the good, bad, the ugly. He's heard a lot of it. He just wants me to be honest and communicate with him. I love that. It's something I crave because I've dealt with so many dishonest people. I deal with so many things. So when we talk about shifting the narrative about Black love, the reason why I brought Torian up is because I had a 3-hour conversation with him today. Luckily, he's on vacation. That's why that was feasible. But needless to say, we talked about this, and they say, and this is Mel and Mo, the media plays a significant role in how Black men and women relate to one another. Black love, which was once synonymous with which was once something that we fought for and admired, has become synonymous with pain and struggle. If there isn't cheating involved, then there is abuse of some kind or consistent nagging and fighting. Who can relate to that, right? I know that to be true. The common reaction to seeing a black couple on screen are always the same. We think to ourselves, why on earth are these two individuals together? They aren't good for each other. The bashing of black love by the media, coupled with anti black love podcasts and social media accounts, come on, y'all. We all know we're following them, right? Influence how we as Black men and women connect off screen and in our households and communities. We often imitate the behaviors that we see as the norm on TV or take unreliable advice from self proclaimed internet doctors and dating coaches about how to approach and nurture romantic relationships. I know I'm guilty of it. The guy I had a crush on who still to like I do talk to him still if anyone was wondering. He relies on that. I'm like, you need to go see a professional. All of this information that we are fed by the media works against us. We end up feeling resentful of the opposite gender for everything they are not and could be. But worst of all, we end up turning against ourselves as Black people for being at the bottom of the hierarchy when it comes to casual dating, getting into long term partnerships, getting married, building stable families, or securing generational wealth and prosperity. The sad state of our community is proof of how much work we need to do as a people. Just read national statistics about gender based violence, single parent or child headed households. Did you hear that? Child headed households or divorce rates, and you will find that we have the highest rates in these categories. What happened to the legacies of our great grandparents who embodied traditional values, honored the sacredness of marriage, and showed us how Black men should provide for Black women and how Black women should respect and cater to Black men? We need to get back to that old school R&B. Hey, this is why they were perfect for R&B Factory, y'all. That old school R&B Black love. You know, the one between Quincy, Omar Epps, and Monica Sanaa Lathan in Love and Basketball. We have the tools to cultivate genuine and passionate relationships. We just need to be reminded of the principles to do that. We are proud to announce that Black love is, and they wrote Black love in capital letters, just the B and the L. It's still very much alive and available in the modern dating world. This book seeks to show you how to date the right way so you can find your dream Black man. Why you are here. I purchased this book, y'all. I did pay $35 for this book. Now, in our raffle basket that my company sponsored, they donated the book to the raffle basket. So, congratulations to those winners. Now, you purchased this book because you still believe in love. Like, where's my pen? Let me underline that. I still believe in love. I do. I have a hard time with it, but I still believe in love. Despite how many times you have been let down by they were promising, right? Promising relationships in the past. You may have been out of the dating scene for a while and get confused with all the modern dating codes and expectations. You are looking for reassurance that you're on the right track to meeting the love of your life, as well as sound advice to help you adjust your dating strategies and transform your mindset about love, intimacy, and romance. It's no secret that you are not the same young lady you were in your 20s and 30s. What you look for in a romantic partner and long term relationship has evolved. For example, how you desire to be taken care of may not be in the financial sense, but excuse me, but more emotionally and spiritually. This for me is true. Like my financials I can figure out. Um yeah, definitely not. I'm in my 40s. The podcast that we're doing for MLK weekend, we're still focusing on dating in your 40s. I'm 43, and Love Inspired Teach E actually stands for Love Inspired Teach Evolve. Let's evolve, y'all. So, all right. So these shifts in your needs can affect how you approach dating, but most importantly, how you relate to men. While it isn't bad to have certain needs, it is important to remember that there is a formula for romantic relationships between men and women. The mistake that many single ladies in this modern dating era make is believing that the formula for long lasting romantic love can be rewritten based on their new ideas and preferences. This book is a guide for Black women on finding lasting partnerships, y'all. I'm glad I purchased the book. I'm happy to support Mel and Monique. I'm thankful to April for introducing me to them. And getting back into the dating scene is rough. Like I was telling Torian, that's who I mentioned earlier, that if it were not for my children and wanting to set a good example for them, I would continue to go about things the way I was going about it, um, serving a different purpose. But I'm changing my mindset for the benefit of my family. And I'm trying to keep my mustard seed of hope alive and love. I've dated men who look great on paper. I've dated men who needed a little polish, needed a little coaching, and I've still gotten burned. And it's Saturday night. It's Saturday self care. It's Saturday support a small business. I am home, y'all. It's cold in Chicago. I went out yesterday and it was cold and I had a good time. I will go out today because I have my kids again. And um, it's harder for me to get out when I have my kids. I'm sorry, but financially, I spend money to go on dates because I have to hire a sitter. So any guy that thinks, oh, I'm paying for this, that, and the third, I'm always like, you know what I'm paying for, what I'm sacrificing? It's a trade-off. And that's a lot of what my 3-hour conversation with Torian, which, Torian's a character, covered. But one of the things he emphasized was the fact that people do not understand the definition of monogamy in the truest sense of the word. The definition of monogamy is that you are with one person your entire lifetime. So if that's the case, that would be you being with your first crush, your first kiss, your first everything from way back when. So I can speak to the Proctors. They're a couple that I went to high school with. I think they would fit that maybe, but then they dated other people, so then I'd have to ask Torian about his framework or whatever. But he's a complex man. Went to Harvard. He went to Benedictine College. He we went to the same high school. So with that said, love beyond 40. Let's get back into it, y'all. So while it isn't bad to have certain needs, it is important. Oh, I read that already. Mentioning a set formula for love relationships in a world where anybody can do and live as they please sounds outdated. Scroll through social media and you'll find someone who swears that there isn't a formula to finding true love because finding the one is simply a matter of luck. Scroll further down and you'll find someone else who is convinced and seeks to convince you that the one will accept you as you are, flaws and all, so you don't need to work on your social skills, emotional intelligence, communication, and so on. But the uncomfortable truth is that strong romantic relationships only survive in specific conditions. Like a seed sown in the ground, romantic relationships require a lot of effort and ongoing tending to grow and blossom. They also require particular attitudes, mindsets, habits, and principles to withstand internal and external pressures. By reading this book, you will learn the formula that revolutionized our dating and marriage experience and helped us build a legacy of love that continues to grow stronger each day. So I want to see what this formula is, y'all. It's got to be a good formula. All right. I'm only on page 4, y'all. I have a good feeling that this book has a lot of good information for me. He said, she said, celebrating our love. So who are Mel and Mo? What qualifies us to write a book about relationships? You will hear about our personal experiences in dating and marriage at the end of each part of the book and learn the formula we use to build a healthy, romantic relationship. You will receive both the male and female perspectives in a format we like to call He Said, She Said. To introduce you to the format, here's a recount of how we met and fell in love. He said, though I was open to love, I can't say I was looking for it when Monique walked into my life. I was dating with intention, but the pandemic really hit me hard. I lost 19 people in 2020, and my head was spinning in sorrow and depression. I was coming out of the fog when we re met. I'll tell you that story later. And I could see clearly enough to understand that the woman who had become a great friend would soon be the romantic love of my life. Though I was in my mid 40s, I hadn't given up on love. She always gives me a hard time because I initially put her in the friend zone, but she did a great job of escaping it. Had I held on to the beliefs that friends can never become serious lovers, then I wouldn't have the amazing wife that I have now. Now I'm buckling in with her and writing about the process that we went through individually to get ready for a serious relationship. I guess I'm sharing with you now. You want the insider secrets, ladies? Well, here you go. I love that. She said, Mel and I met unexpectedly at the perfect time in both of our lives, and yes, we were both over 40. We were open and ready to find our person, but had no clue when, where, or how that would happen. When I turned 40, I was ending a relationship. It was 3 months into the global pandemic, and there was no easy answer in sight to what the next chapter of my life was going to look like. I had embarked on my healing journey so I could be ready when the right person showed up. But even with all that mental, emotional, and spiritual preparation, nothing could have prepared me for the COVID-19 lockdowns, which prohibited me from going outside and mingling with new people. I did my best to stay in the dating game despite the restrictions. And then Mel appeared in my life, not from any of those intentional habits I was doing, yet I'm certain that all of those habits played a role in elevating my vibration so I could be tuned in to finding the love of my life. Next part is the journey of the single Black woman over 40. So I'm getting tired. I definitely want to read the book. I do my reading in the evening, but it's Saturday night, y'all. I'm in over 40. That's normal for me, especially when I have my kids. I'm forcing myself out there. I'm forcing myself to date. A date that I was supposed to have tonight actually got rescheduled to tomorrow. So we'll see how that one goes. Because the fact of the matter is, I don't have time to be dating one person at a time. And Torian's well aware of this because he practices. Get this, y'all. And I've heard this said by him before. And I've heard the term, I think, before when he first said it to me, non-ethical monogamy. He practices ethical non-monogamy. I've mixed up the words, y'all. Ethical non-monogamy. Okay? That's a mouthful. Y'all know, have you heard of it before? Do you know what it means? And Torian knows like what I do and who I do it with. And it's funny because my new friend John, birds of a feather who flock together, is what I keep saying about him. We do not date, me and John. People seem to think we do. We don't. But I told John, and he was like, "Don't tell him that." I'm like, "No, we set expectations. We have the expectations conversation." I also think if I ever get intimate with Torian, he's gonna make me sign paperwork. I know why. I know his professional background. He's well aware how I am about money, and it is problematic. Like I grew up with money. My parents downplayed it, and I also think raising 5 kids made it not what people thought it was as well. But my therapist says, and I'm not in therapy currently right now. I don't have to be, right? But which is funny because if you talk to certain people, they'll say otherwise. But my therapist says that she thinks that I am like that towards money because I think it destroyed my family. And I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I mean, like I mentioned on the radio show, my mother has a Bentley. I just mentioned her Bentley. I didn't say it was hers or whatever. But my mother has a Bentley. Facebook knows this. And it's cold outside and I have kids. And my car is in the tow lot for City of Chicago. I took it upon myself to first ask my mother, will she be in town? Second of all, the other car that she drives that's like a more down-to-earth car is with her where she's at. So I asked her, I said, can I borrow the Bentley until I can get my car back? I was anticipating my income coming in so I could do a few things. She said no. I knew she was going to say no. Like, y'all, I know my mom. And it's a Bentley. But I don't care about stuff like that. And people get shocked. And I'm like, if you knew what it took, the sacrifices my parents made, the demise of their marriage, you may understand why I am the way I am. And Tori and I also had that conversation where he was like, people are trying to take for you and build and blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, my main purpose, I have to let him tell you what he said, because I did write it down somewhere, but I'm not finding that sticky note right now. But I told him my goal is to be happy and to live in peace, because I grew up in chaos. I grew up in baseball chaos. I grew up in a larger size household for this day and age, having 4 brothers. I grew up in chaos. And I'm tired, so I'm going to go to bed. But the last thing I want to say to y'all is I did not grow up with the type of love in the home after I was in like third, fourth grade, right? Because that's when I went to live with my parents, who had gotten married, and my mom was expecting a child and whatever. But the type of love I've experienced is pretty harsh. I can tolerate a lot, and that is where therapy comes in, because I've got to stop tolerating that. So I'm going to take myself to bed. I have a date tomorrow after I work, because I work tomorrow, guys. I'm on the radio. I'm on the R&B Factory from 12 to 1 on 106.3 FM. But I'm going to pick out an outfit. I don't know if I have anything with tags on it to wear. We're going to Fulton Market, so if I go pop up disappearing, you'll know why. No, I'm just kidding. But the second date with Torian is also set, but it's tentative because now his he has certain goals and ambitions, and he may need to reschedule. And you know what? The difference between the New Year's Eve cancellation and the cancellation today, they were both explicitly stated we may have to reschedule, right? I don't know what's up with the lighting. Like, it's StreamYard. Who's doing that to my lighting? I get asked out on dates a lot now that I've set the intention and dress up and all that, but I don't like dating. I told John today in text message, I was just like, I'm so dying to get, and I feel like I'm literally dying to get out of the dating pool. I really am. Let's face it, y'all. Modern dating sucks. A big one. Whatever things you suck on that are big, like lollipops or God, even Lil Wayne's got that one messed up for me. But anyhow, I did write in preparation for Tuesday's podcast, because if you didn't know, Tuesday, the Light Fire Starters podcast is going to resume. We're going to revisit having Gary and Gabe on, and John is joining y'all. Yes, John and I are both on a mission to find our puzzle pieces. I call them the one I call my puzzle piece. Where are you, puzzle piece? Where are you? So I was listening to hip hop, and I was listening to Cameron, and Cameron sings in Hey Ma. I don't know if you guys remember, but he sings, he's like, I know how to treat a woman. I know how to get a woman's attention. His dating advice there is be polite. A woman likes a man who's polite, listens, and takes advice. And then he goes on to say, who knows how to lay the pipe. Alexa, play Cameron, Hey Ma. And let's see,
Here's
I
Hey
think
Ma by Cameron on Amazon Music.
I don't know if we'll be allowed to this is something else who wants to date me. I don't want you guys to hear this before StreamYard or YouTube and Facebook came out. I wish I could fast forward it a little bit, but not with
Yo, now it's downtown clubbing, ladies' night. Seen Shorty, she was crazy, right? And I approached baby like, Mom, what's your age and type? She looked at me and said, you's a baby, right? I told her, I'm 18 and live a crazy life. Plus I tell you what the 80s like, and I know what the ladies like. Need a man that's polite, listens and takes advice. I could be all three, plus I can lay the pipe.
Okay, let's turn the music off. You see what I'm saying? Like, guys don't do that now. They're not polite sometimes, most of the time. They don't really listen. They just like wait for their turn to speak. And then you give them advice and they ignore it. They just want to lay the pipe. That's all they want to do. shit, I could show you some text messages where I'm like, I know what you really want. That said, I'm going to listen to Cameron again. I'm going to try to find some hope. I'll probably get back into the book when I get in my bed. But I hope y'all have a great Saturday evening. Support small business. Check out the radio show tomorrow. Check out the podcast on Tuesday. And I love y'all. Good night.